This is lesson 11 of geometry. Today's lesson is on area. If you take a look at the background, you'll notice I've given you some clues on different things that have something to do with area. We see a bunch of boxes and some figures and even some Cheez-Its. Let's go ahead and see what that's all about. On the next slide, we have a square unit. An area is the number of square units needed to cover a surface. Area. Number of square units. Number of square units needed to cover an area, or cover a surface. Here is my surface, and here are my square units, and I'm going to put these in here until I've covered this surface. And maybe you can guess how many it's going to take. How many do you think I'm going to cover with these square units? Let's see, I've got 4 across there, and I've got 4 here. Splitting around a little bit. I'm trying to do this kind of quickly here, so maybe you can see what we've got going on here. How many square units is it going to take to cover this figure? Well, some of you probably got your answer already. Maybe it only took you the first couple of minutes, but now let me count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. This figure took 16 square, I'm going to abbreviate square, SQ, units. 16 square units. Well, let's go on to the next slide. Here I've got my ruler up here, and we already said that area is the number of square units used to cover the surface of a figure. Well, and here I've got a square unit over here. In my square unit, I've got a yellow square unit, and I also have my ruler out here to measure this square unit. This square unit actually happens to be 1 centimeter, or 1 square centimeter. It's a square and it's a centimeter. It's 1 square centimeter. So my square unit in this case is also 1 square centimeter. And so I can use the label 1 square centimeter when I finish this. But let's take a look at the figure that I've got here. I've got a white figure of some squares, and we want to know the area of that figure. And so we can take and drag these over and put them on top there. We could do that, or we could just simply count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. But you know what? I bet there's another way we could do that. We said 24. Let me write that down. 24 square units, or in this case, since it's centimeters, I'm going to abbreviate centimeters here, square centimeters. We could have 4 across the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 there. And if we count down from this first block, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it's 4 this way and 6 centimeters that way. I should say 4 centimeters and 6 centimeters. And I wonder, is there something that I can do with multiplication that has something to do with 4? Well, sure. 4 times 6 is 24. That's one way to figure out the area of rectangle, is to multiply the number across by the number down here. Well, let's take a look at these other 2 figures that we've got here. We've got a red figure on the right, and we want to figure out how many square centimeters. We want to figure out the area of this figure down here. Well, let's simply just count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, this one has 9 square centimeters. Which figure is bigger as far as the area goes? Is it the green one or the red one? Well, let's count. Let's change colors here so we can see it easily. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hey, these figures have the equal amounts of area. They both have 9 square centimeters. Well, we're going to go on to the next slide here and take a look. Here I've got my ruler, and I've got a square centimeter there. I'll put my ruler aside. I'm going to remind us about the word we talked about, perimeter. We'll talk about perimeter, and then we'll go back to area in just a second. But perimeter was the outside measurement of a figure. Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, hey, this is that same figure that we had seen before. It has 4 centimeters on this side, and I think there were 6 down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, there's 6 centimeters on this side. And the thing I know about a rectangle is if there's 6 on one side, on the parallel side, there's 6. There's 4 up here. There's 4 down here, and I can see that easily. And then with perimeter, we just add the sides together. 4 plus 4 plus 6 plus 6 equals the perimeter. And we're measuring with centimeters. And so I'm going to just put the label here, cm, for centimeters. And you know what? I'm making 10 out of this. I know 4 and 4 is 10, and 4 and 4 is 10. 10 and 10 is 20. So the perimeter of this big rectangle here is 20 centimeters. How about the perimeter of the red figure on the right here? I'm kind of curious to know if the perimeter of the red one is the same perimeter as the green one. They both had the same area, but let's look and see about the perimeter. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Remember, perimeter is the outside measurement of a figure. 18 centimeters. You think that the green one has the same amount of centimeters on the outside, or more or less? Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. This one has a perimeter of 20 centimeters. So even though that area of these two figures was the same, we can see that the perimeter was different. Going on to the next one. Oh, those look like Cheez-Its. I think that maybe that is a picture of some Cheez-Its. And I've got my ruler out here. I'm going to take a look at a Cheez-It. A Cheez-It is about an inch. Hey, is it an inch square? Let's check and see. Now I drop that ruler this direction. Oh yes, a Cheez-It is about 1 square inch. So my unit, my square unit in this case, we're going to be using a square unit, and it's going to be 1 square Cheez-It. This is going to be my unit. And I can also label it as a square inch because these Cheez-Its are 1 square inch. Well, let's take a look at this square that we've got here. We've got 4 across the top, and we have 4 across the side. Using multiplication, can you tell what the area is? And remember, area is the number of squares needed to cover the surface. I could count those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or I could multiply, because I know there's a group of 4 here, and there's a group of 4 here. I know 4 and 4. We said 8 already, and there's a group of 4 here and a group of 4 here. Hey, there's 4 groups of 4. So that would be 4 times 4 equals 16 square units. And we could say 16 square Cheez-Its, or we could say 16 square inches, since these are all the same here. Well, let's focus on that one, since the measurement is what we're working on. So down below where it says area, it was 16 square inches. How about the perimeter of this same figure? There's an inch here, an inch here, and here, and here. There's 4 inches on that side. This is a square, and that reminds me that, oh, if there's 4 on one side, there's 4 on every side. A square is always the same on all the sides. Say 4 plus 4 plus 4. I'm measuring or adding all the sides together to equal the perimeter. And hey, I can add those, or I can simply multiply them. Hey, that's kind of cool that the perimeter and the area is the same. So the perimeter is 16 inches. It's not square inches because we're not measuring with squares on perimeter, but just a linear inch, straight line. So 16 inches is the perimeter, 16 square inches is the area. All right, we're looking at another set of Cheez-Its, and we've talked enough about looking at how many are on this side and how many down this side so that we maybe could use multiplication to make it quicker for us. There's 2 in each of these rows. Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows of 2. 8 times 2 equals 16. So my area is 16 square units, we'll say on this one. We can say 16 square Cheez-Its if we wanted to. We're going to use the word units this time. We're kind of interchanging those. We could also say inch because we know that the Cheez-It is a square inch. How about the perimeter? 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, that's right. It's a rectangle, so their parallel sides are the same. So I've got a 2 plus a 2. And then we had, I think we said 8, didn't we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And plus 8 equals, hey, I'm going to make some 10s there. I know 2 and 8 is 10. And 10 and 10 is 20. So the area, excuse me, the perimeter is 20 units. Or we could say inches, or we could say 20 Cheez-Its. On to the next one. Area is the number of square units needed to cover surface. We're talking about that. And we're also reviewing perimeter, which is the outside measurement. Let's use multiplication on this figure here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 across the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think this is Braden's favorite fact. 7 times 6. The area for this is 42 square. Let's use the word Cheez-Its this time, and I'll just say C-I, Cheez-Its, with a little hyphen between it. Let's see, 42 square Cheez-Its. Or we could say 42 square inches, since each of those Cheez-Its is a square inch. And the perimeter, we said one side is 7, so that's this side, and it's a rectangle, so this side is 7. One side is 6, and that's this side, and the parallel side is 6. And we're going to add those together. 7 plus 6 plus 6 equals, let's see, we've got a doubles fact here, that's 14, and a doubles fact there is 6 and 6 is 12. 12 and 14. Let me use this algorithm upside, lining them up. 2 and 4 is 6, and 1 and 1 is 2. 26 Cheez-Its is the perimeter. All right, perimeter, the outside measurement, area, the number of squares needed to cover the surface. Ooh, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, it's a square. In the area, 10 times 10. Oh, we know that one is 100 square. Well, let's use inches this time. Square inches. And the perimeter is 10 this way, and 10 this way, and 10 this way, and 10 this way. I have 4 sets of 10. 4 times 10 is 40 inches. So this is 40 inches. It's the perimeter. Okay, moving right along. We've got 2 figures here, and they're not squares or rectangles, but we can just count the number of Cheez-Its to figure out the area. Remember, a Cheez-It is equal to 1 square inch, so we'll use that one to be a little bit more mathematically correct. 1 square inch will be our label on these, and we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 square inches. And the perimeter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 inches is the perimeter. Let's look at this other figure here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The area for this one is 11 square inches. And the perimeter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 22 is the perimeter of this one. Would you have guessed that with less square inches that the perimeter would be greater? 22 inches is its perimeter. One thing too about perimeter, if you can look at this one on the right over here, it reminded me of like if I was making a corral for horses or something. I'd have a fence piece, and each of those pieces of fencing, maybe there's a post in between there. So if you think about fencing, sometimes too you realize that, oh, perimeter is like fencing something in. Okay, the next slide, we want to try and figure out the area of our hand. And when I first tried it, I used this hand like this, and I counted all the squares that my hand would cover. But later on, I realized as I was working, if I put my fingers together, it makes counting a lot easier. So I'm going to back up here for just a second. Let's see if I can get this to go as one piece. Okay, so I put my hand on here, and I'm going to count the number of squares that are inside the measurement of my hand, the outline of my hand. 1, 2, I want to count that one. It's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Now I've got a couple pieces here. Maybe I'll count those two as 1, 28. I'll count these two as 1, 29. Here's a piece and a piece there, 30. And maybe I can count those extra piece there as another one. So 31. And I've got my ruler here to determine what these are. Let's see. Looks like it's a half a centimeter. I'm thinking I'm just going to say 31 square units. Units is just a term that we use if we just are using something that is isn't really measured, but it is square. So in this case, we're going to say 31 square units for my hand. Here's your assignment now, and this comes from page 121 of your workbook lesson. And if you want to go back and look at some more information on area, it's on 322 and 323 of your textbook. We talked about area today, and we also said that area was the number of square units needed to cover a surface. They give us an example of 1 square unit, and if we have 2 of them, of course, there's 2 square units, or 6 square units. Write the area. Remember that your title or your label for these will be square units. And if you write nice and small, you'll be able to fit it in there, square units. So write the number of square units for each, and remember to put your label on all those 1 through 9. Taking a look at the problem solving, number 10 says the Johnson's living room rug is 3 square units wide and 4 square units long. Well, if I were you, I would just draw a little picture here to give me kind of a clue about what they're talking about. 3 square units wide and 4 square units long. How long is the area, or what is the area of the rug? Don't forget, of course, to label square units. I'll write smaller than I did, and my marker here is kind of big. Number 11. Bill's bedroom floor is 9 square units long and 8 square units wide. What is its area? And again, if you draw yourself a picture and label it to help your mind think about what they're asking, 8 on one side and 9 on the other side. One additional thing for your homework tonight is there's 2 statements on the back of your paper. Draw an outline of your hand with your fingers together on centimeter grid paper. Count the squares to estimate the area of your hand. So you do like I had showed you earlier with that picture of my hand with fingers closed, and count the number of squares that fall within the area of your hand. Since you're using centimeter grid paper, you'll be able to say square centimeters when you label your answer. And then number 2, use the grid paper to draw as many different figures as you can that have an area of 10 square units. Well, my hand is going to be on part of this paper, and then the rest of it I can use for as many square units. Let's see, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have to draw a figure with 10 square units, and it says as many different figures as you can. Then it asks, how many figures did you draw? And do you think there are more figures than you can draw that have an area of 10 square units? And if you think so, say, yes, I do, and then tell why, or no, I don't. I think I've got them all, and tell why. Good luck with your assignment on area. I'm looking forward to seeing that tomorrow. Oh, my goodness.